Hi, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a review for A Haunting in Venice. This is the third of the Kenneth Branagh directed Poirot movies, also starring himself as the title character. And I think this one is a bit of a mixed bag that I actually quite like. I definitely sense a trend in the sense that the first one was this big in scope production that was relatively successful. Critics were a little cooler on it because it was a readaptation of a movie that was very successful from years past, and that's always kind of hard to land successfully. I thought he did a really good job, and I thought that visually it was strong, and I really liked his twist at the character. His turn at playing Poirot was really interesting to me, and I really liked Murder on the Orient Express. I think the weakest of the three movies is easily Death on the Nile, which was even grander in scope. It was big, lavish, and beautiful movie. I think it was the best looking movie of 2021. 2022, sorry, my bad. It was supposed to come out in 2020, then 2021. It was a thing. Anyway, I think it was the best looking movie, however the mystery didn't really work for me. I figured it out almost instantly. And the performances were a little uneven when compared to the first movie. However, I still liked Poirot and his kind of quirkiness that Branagh brought to it. This one is the most subdued and most moody. This is probably the closest in adaptation to the flavor that you get when reading Agatha Christie, which really works, but as part of a trilogy of films, it feels so dissociated from the other two. He also plays this character far more balanced this time around. There's a lot less humor in this movie than there were in the other two, particularly from his character. And that's strange because one of the co-stars of this movie is Tina Fey. You think of Tina Fey, you think comedy, and she really doesn't offer that in this movie. She's actually really quite good in this movie, as is the cast. I think this is the best performed movie of the entire cast, sans Branagh. However, I do think Branagh gives a really good performance. It just seems so weird that his character is so different than the last two times we saw it. Now, part of the element at play in this film is that he is at retirement. He's given up the mystery thing, and he's kind of become your legacy character adaptation of characters from the past that you love, i.e. he's grown old and angry and bitter and dispassionate about everything. Think Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, or Dewey in Scream, or Jamie Lee Curtis, what's her name? Laurie Strode in the Halloween sequels. And it just was sort of strange. However, I liked the moodiness of the movie. This does feel very Agatha Christie, and if you really like Agatha Christie books and that whole vibe, this may not be a perfect adaptation of the Halloween Party, the book it's based on, but it is a perfect encapsulation of her style, which was something that I think you could hurl as a criticism against the previous two movies, is they felt far more blockbustery. This doesn't. This is a kind of haunted house murder mystery story, and plays as such very, very well. This is not something that would not be unheard of seeing on BBC, which is actually the only other time this was adapted. So that was kind of cool. I did come away liking the movie. I wish it's not necessarily that I wish the scope had been more grand. I think it was just that I got used to the scope being more grand. And I'd like to see how I feel about this movie as the time progresses. Because I like, even though I think Death on the Nile is the weakest of the three easily, I still like all three movies, this one included, and I want to see what they all look like together, and maybe if there were to be a fourth movie. Box office is a little weaker, so if there were to be a fourth movie, I would imagine it would be like a Hulu original or something like that, but I would like to see how I feel about this one when the next mystery comes around. But yeah, I did like this movie. It is dark, it is somber, it's murky, it's broody, but it worked for me. Michelle Yeoh is great. Kelly Reilly is fantastic. Tina Fey gives a hell of a turn as this character. I really would like to see her play characters like this more often. She was really captivating to me. I've always liked Tina Fey. And then Branagh is really good as your typical Poirot, and not the atypical version that we got in the other two movies. And I think that's the trade-off, is he is probably far more close an adaptation to the original novel version of the character than the kind of quirkiness that we saw in the previous two films. But he does good, and visually he knows how to use the camera very well. So I'll say that as well. I give this movie a very firm 3 stars, one that I look forward to revisiting in the future when I can watch all 3 kind of bundled together, and maybe I'll do a trilogy review. But what did you think of this film? Go see it in the theater. I think the kind of haunting atmosphere, especially the work with sound design, works really, really well with the film and would work best in a theatrical setting. So I do urge you to see it theatrically while you can. It is probably on the way out. As I say, it's not a huge hit domestically, but if you get a chance, check out A Haunting in Venice. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.